My informative speech is on the 1900 Galveston storm. Galveston, Texas was a booming town until the Great Storm destroyed the city on Saturday, September 8, 1900. It was estimated that approximately 6,000 to 12,000 residents of Galveston perished that day. This Category 4 storm slammed into the Gulf Coast with driving winds up to 135 miles per hour and a 15-foot storm surge. The 1900 hurricane that occurred in Galveston was the deadliest natural disaster to hit the United States. The 1900 storm was one of the most catastrophic hurricanes to destroy the Texas coast because of the massive damage that devastated the city of Galveston. This treacherous hurricane left buildings in splinters, and houses were toppled one on top of another. After the destruction, dead bodies and debris were scattered on the streets of Galveston. The rushing floodwaters rose up to 15 feet tall, which lifted buildings and houses off their foundation and were swept into the raging currents. Galveston was completely submerged underwater, especially when the Gulf of Mexico and Galveston Bay merged together. Another devastating element about the Great Storm of 1900 was the death toll of thousands of men, women, and children. When the storm broke, an alarming number of dead bodies were found all over the streets. This was a horrible sight for the residents of Galveston to see. Survivors had no idea how many lives this deadly hurricane had taken, because where they saw mounds of debris, unfortunately, this was where many people were buried alive. Since there were multiple casualties, the bodies were loaded on boats and taken out to sea for burial. The correct number of those who perished will probably never be known, for many entire families are missing. Additionally, with all the massive destruction and the thousands of dead bodies throughout the city, Clara Barton, the president of the Red Cross, and her members came to Galveston to provide emergency relief to the residents, to avoid future hurricanes from destroying the city. Like the 1900 storm, major improvements were installed to protect the island. One of the improvements to the island was to build a seawall around Galveston. It took several plans and several years to build the wall, which measures 17 feet high. Also, another improvement to the island was to raise the elevation of the city and the structures. Dredged sand was used to raise the city of Galveston by as much as 17 feet above its previous elevation. In this process, over 2,100 buildings were also raised. In conclusion, Galveston once a successful city with thriving seaports, but after the Great Storm of 1900, the city is now a popular tourist attraction. The storm will always be remembered for the many people who lost their lives and all the destruction that destroyed the island during this deadly hurricane. Also, the major improvements to the city of Galveston has protected the city and all the residents. Even though Galveston is a popular tourist attraction today, it will never be the same city it was in the 1900s. Today, the Great Storm of 1900 is still the worst disaster in American history. These pictures are of the 1900 Galveston storm and all the destruction. This is the path it took straight towards Galveston. This is Clara Barton, the president of the Red Cross. Thank you.